Hey guys, welcome to our podcast where it has to be said. My name is Elvis.
And my name's Denise.
Babe, let's talk. We haven't spoken in a very long time.
Welcome back, Elvis.
I know, right? Some of you guys haters were like,
You know.
I didn't even realize you wasn't in the podcast.
Yeah, I did a poll on Instagram, and one of the options was like, it was asking if they missed Elvis because there's been 3 episodes that he hasn't recorded.
Stop lying, you guys missed
Some
me.
said yes, some said no, and others were like, oh, they didn't even notice.
Listen, we're happy to be back. We've been very busy.
Well, I haven't gone anywhere.
I've been doing a lot of stuff in the house. We had, I think in general, overall, we're always busy. We're always doing a whole bunch of stuff for both full-time parents at work, church, and then I think we really don't have any downtime. And what else I had? Oh, yeah, we had the basement. We were doing the bathroom. We were extending the backyard and whatever comes to my head that I want to start doing in the house.
Yeah,
So
Elvis had a lot going on.
yeah,
So.
I still do. Technically, I have somebody working outside. We got the baby sleeping, and our other daughter in school. So we're trying to do like
Yeah.
everything at once.
And then the last week he didn't record because he had 2 things that same week too. In combination of prepping like the backyard, he was also planning my surprise little birthday party. We had a hibachi dinner in the back. And he preached that same Sunday and Mother's Day. So Saturday was for my birthday surprise, and then Sunday was his preaching for Mother's Day. So
Yeah, it was crazy.
he had a lot going on, which kind of connects to like what we're gonna talk about today. Because usually always is not the planning type.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I had a question for him about, in having to plan the whole party, like if he appreciated me more as the person who's kind of more of the planner.
Not really. I had Crystal. Shout out to Crystal. Crystal took care of all the decoration. So no, everything went smoothly. I mean, it was a little crazy. I
Unbelievable.
think that what had me mostly a little bit like, oh my God, I want to finish. Not only that I had to give the word on Sunday, but also just making sure that everybody that wanted to come were actually going to show up. Just because you're paying for a venue and you want to make sure that if you pay for something, like people are actually going to show up. So I think that had me a little bit stressed out. But decorations, Crystal, you are the best. Come on. Thank you for taking over the
So
decorations.
thank you, Crystal. She did a lovely job. But basically, he just said that he would replace me if I wasn't here. That's how I
Nothing
took
to
it.
do with replacement. Why we taking things personal?
Cause I'm like, bro, like at least be like, yeah, I'm like, thank you because you're the one that handles
You
most
want to
of
thank
this.
you? If anything, you should say thank you because I said not only did I celebrate your birthday, but I
Uh-huh.
actually surprised you, and I had to move all the cars for down the block that way you didn't see them beforehand.
Partially surprised.
You
I
were
had my
surprised. You
suspicions.
had suspicion, but you did not know that we were gonna have a cooking in the backyard. The
Hmm.
people that were gonna be involved. So I think it was successful. It was good. You had an amazing time. Stop it.
I did have a good time. But in connection to that, I had made Elvis do I had done it a few years back, personality test.
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna post the website because I would love to hear from you guys, your feedback when
It's
you take the
scary,
test.
guys. It's scary.
I had taken a few years back. I think Jennifer actually, Jennifer G, because I know a few Jennifers, she did
Which
it.
is Jennifer G?
Brooklyn.
Is it hey girl?
No,
Oh, okay.
that's not. He's saying that because our other Jennifer has like a Tribeca voice.
Yeah, exactly.
She's gonna die when she hears this.
Oh, she hears the podcast.
She hears it faithfully on Spotify. She's a faithful listener.
Jennifer, no hate. Just that's how I know who you are.
So I took it, and it was pretty spot on. So I was like, I'll just do it because I think it would be a good like conversation as
Yeah.
a couple. So I wanted to talk about that specifically, some of our strengths and weaknesses,
Okay,
I
I got it on my phone.
and
So
see how it like interfaces in our relationship now, like how it impacts our relationship and stuff like that. So I
Cool.
guess you can go first.
Good. What did I get
Do
again?
you remember your personality type?
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, so it's 16 personality types, and this is like psychology stuff, so I'm not gonna bore you with the history of it, but it's like divided into like 4 domains. One of them is like extroverted and introverted section. Then the other one was 1 second.
And then I have ESTP.
Right. So one section of the boxes of the personality type is divided into four, right? So the key is extroverted and introverted. Then there's the sensor part and intuitive. Then the thinkers and feelers, and the judgers and perceivers.
Okay.
So those letters are what those stand for. So
Okay.
you had got entrepreneur,
Yes.
which anyone who knows Elvis is very fitting.
Yeah. So I would say one good thing about it, right? We're saying our good stuff and negative stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I would say bold. I mean, it says about boldness. People, personality like this have a lot of energy, grateful, enjoy, always pushing boundaries and discovering new things and new ideas. I think that's me 100%. Always, I mean, I'm always looking for something new to do, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
very spontaneous. So I'll be like
Spontaneous.
spontaneous. I'll be like, hey babe, let's just go watch a movie. Let's have dinner. Let's go out. Let's go to Puerto Rico. Let's go get cookies. Let's go get ice cream. I'm always making something up. Let's go to
Yeah.
the backyard and watch a movie, which you
Yeah.
don't want to
At
watch.
10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it's okay. It's normal.
Yeah.
We go to sleep after 12.
He wanted to do that. Him and Ellie are. I want her to do it because I think him and Ellie are very similar, and like they both on Monday night were like, oh yeah, let's watch a show in the projector, but it was 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that at 10 o'clock at night. I want to sleep, and so I think that's where kind of like we're kind of opposite in a sense, in that sense. But I think that also has to do with you being more extrovert. Like you're more out there. I'm sorry. Hold on.
You playing video, something like that while we
No,
do something?
you're more out there, and I'm not that extroverted.
Yeah, I mean, I just like in general, like
Socializing.
sometimes, yeah, sometimes you don't have to plan things. You just kind of go with the flow. And I think you're completely the opposite. Sometimes that could be a little bit clashing because you like structure.
Yeah.
So, but for me, that's I think is a major plus because if we were always structured or always by the book, I mean, it'd be boring. Let's be
Yeah.
honest, especially with a daughter like Elenice.
Yeah. And I think that I wouldn't say that I need everything planned. It's just like I almost have to
Of
because
course not. You only need 99% of things planned. That's all.
I think it's because I'm so introverted. It's like I have to prepare myself
Yeah.
to do certain activities. I have to prepare myself to have to engage and interact with others. Like it takes time for me, like especially with social events, which by the way, I did take many moons ago when I started before going to grad school. I did take a personality test. It was a
Mm-hmm.
requirement. And I got like a little bit in the scoring was social anxiety. And it's funny because it's a long test. And as much as you try to kind of finagle or kind of control what you answer, it's still kind of it's pretty accurate to your personality, your interests, and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So I think that's what it comes down to. It's kind of like I have to prep myself to be around people, and after a while, I'm just like, all right, I'm ready to go home. I
Yeah.
think in anything.
Yeah, and I think going back to what you said, sometimes we try to finagle these type of stuff just because I think we're scared of the results we're gonna get, right?
Yeah.
Because it's almost like when you take certain tests like this, is a reality check of this
Mm-hmm.
is how you are or this is how you are in this particular moment, and it's either gonna be good or it's gonna be bad or a little bit of both. So
Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's good to always kind of take these type of things because number one, it puts you in perspective of where you are
Mm-hmm.
today and what could I do to improve. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was scary.
And I like that it gives you both strengths as weaknesses. So I know you said your strength was
Yeah,
boldness. I think that is a good strength um to have. And it helps in our relationship because he'll be the one that's socializes with the neighbors. He'll get to know people and get information that I kind of would prefer to not have to do. So I think that works.
yeah. Well, everybody, all the new neighbors and everything. So yeah, I like
And
doing it.
yeah,
It's just part of my personality that I love talking to people.
I don't know. Let me see. Let me say my strength then, since before you go to your
So you want to
weakness.
hear the bad stuff, even though it's not. I don't
I'll
think
say
it's
the positive
necessarily.
first too. Let me say my positive first.
Well, let's hear your positive.
Let me see. Hold on. I would say a strength is that I am observant. And I think it's a strength because I'm very like I can kind of feel people's energy and kind of emotions, which kind of help when you kind of miss or kind of slip, like, oh, I don't think this person was in the mood for that, or I'm observant and kind of keep tabs on birthdays and things like that, which is something he really like puts in the back burner. So I remind him like, oh, it's so his birthday and things like that. So I think it's helpful in having some organization in certain aspects of our lives. So I
I
think
agree.
that helps our
I
relationship.
forget a whole bunch of birthdays, celebrations,
Events, right? If
anniversaries,
it's for
everything.
Elvis, we probably triple book on one day because sometimes you'll forget, like, no, we have to do this or we have this already that we agreed to. And he's like, oh, I forgot.
Yeah, but you know the crazy part of all of
Well,
that? You're the one that would book us a flight for the day before or the day after.
what are you
Not
talking
the
about?
day. Oh, you would probably book us a flight or you would give us a wrong date on
Okay.
something.
I
You will
said,
probably book us. We're going to stay at Pennsylvania hotel, but you book us for California.
I said
You.
observant, not. That's part of
Yeah, yeah.
observing, right?
No, it's funny because it kind of contradicts itself, but you know it's the truth.
It's true, but I think that goes to a little bit towards my weakness. So we'll talk. You want me to say my weakness
I,
because
I wasn't saying nothing bad. I was just
no,
being
but
observant myself.
I'm saying that me making those mistakes sometimes, right,
A
kind of
lot of times, yeah.
ties into my weakness of overcommitting,
Okay.
right? So I'm always like, because I'm always the planner, but I'm always also the yeser,
Yeah.
right? I'm
Unless
doing.
it's me. You're not yes to everything to me.
I do yes you all the time. What are you talking
Depends.
about?
Depends. Sometimes.
I give you a little bit of tough love. I can't give strangers or other people tough love because they're not gonna be as graceful and as
I don't want tough love.
kind
I just want love.
kind to me, you know? So you
I want to take it out of the guessing game. Don't guess. Don't try to figure out if I want tough love. I just want love. I'm okay just with love.
all right. But anyways, point is I'm very I put myself into too much at the same
I
time.
agree. I agree with
And
you
I
100%.
overcommit myself to the point where it's like it becomes very overwhelming, you
Yeah.
know?
And you bring all that overwhelmingness over here.
I
Not
do.
only to me, but to the girls, to everybody in the house. Whoever is in the house
I do.
that
So
day of the
it
week or
yeah.
weekend
Whatever.
feels the pressure.
It says that, you know, we create situations where we're overwhelmed, but we're also unwilling to relax,
Yeah.
like our standards or ask for help. So I put in so much, and I think that I have that issue everywhere I go,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's at work, whether it's especially at church. Um, I just say yes, and I think it's something I need to continue working on. I feel like I've been saying I'm gonna work on it, and I think I've done a little bit better.
Let's practice right now. Say no.
That's not the
Say no.
no. That's not.
No. See, you don't even want to say no. You know, you see how hard it
It
is?
is not that hard to say no.
I know. You need to tell that to yourself.
Shut up. What's your weakness?
I think that's part of my strengths. I would say no in a heartbeat. I think that there should be a balance of everything we do in life. And at the end of the day, if we say yes to everything, we're going to be burnt out eventually. It doesn't matter what we're doing. The house, even in the house, I'd be telling you, I'm doing this, babe. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Kind of for you to tell me, okay, relax.
Oh, I'm not gonna
Stop
tell you
one
to
thing.
relax.
You do tell me
Oh,
sometimes.
sometime.
Finish this project, and then you go later on and do the other projects because I'm always in the house. Yes, yes, yes. That's one thing
Yeah.
I'm bad in when it comes to the house. I would say yes to every. Like I will redo the house if I could.
Yeah. But I think that that's part of like my type of personality is that also that it's like I give everyone grace and tell everyone, oh, take it easy. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't do this. Don't do that. I'm very motivational and kind of like uplifting to others.
Mm-hmm.
But with myself, I'm a little more like
Mm-hmm.
stern and like, no, I'm a little hard on myself.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of ties into that part too. But share your weakness. I'm curious.
You got tired of hearing yours, so yeah. Okay, one of
Yeah,
my
it's too much
weakness.
attention on mine.
Oh,
I'm like, all
okay,
right.
so attention to me. I dislike it, but it's okay.
Which these are just some of them because it gives you a few on the website.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's pretty like at least for me, it was like 99% like spot on. I
Yeah.
wanted to see other people, including Elenice, how she would come out with this. One of the things it says, I think that it would be hard for me, and I think it's true, insensitive. Sometimes we could be a little bit too blunt, honest, and just say things without even thinking
Yep.
who would we hurt, and just saying it. I think sometimes I am like that. I mean, I know. I just like telling people how it is. I don't like going around the bush. Like I just want to tell you, listen, this is where I am, or this is where you are. Oh, that's wrong. Don't do it.
Mhm.
Oh, that's bad. Don't right. I just I'm straightforward. Like I just don't want to go around the bush. I don't.
Yeah. I remember like early on into our relationship, we were more young minded or we were just going through it. And there would be times that,
We're kids.
and I'm sure other women have gone through it, where it's like you get into an argument, and I was the type that I needed to resolve it right then and there. Let's talk about it.
Hmm.
I'm not going to go to sleep with this feeling. I'm not going to go to sleep without us making up or whatever. And, he would be like able to fall asleep and knock out. And
Mm-hmm.
I would be crying. He'll fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yo, this
Snoring and
guy,
everything.
what a jerk. Like, that's what I would think, because I'm like, how insensitive of him. Like, I'm like, you don't care that I'm crying? And then that would make me cry more.
Well, the reason why I didn't want to talk was because I was also upset. We wasn't gonna get anywhere, and I just would prefer to kind of let things cool down first. Then we could kind of have a dialogue of what's
Yeah.
going on and why we even arguing in the first place.
Yeah.
Half of the times were for things that
Stupid
didn't,
stuff.
yeah, things that didn't really
He would
matter.
still upset me, though, and make me cry even more when he would do stuff like that, though. I was like, oh, he's so insensitive.
Yeah, but the crazy part is none of us ever slept in the couch.
No.
But we always were like, no, like this is the place you sleep in your bedroom, and that's it. That was never
The
like.
most I would do is continue to cry in the living room till I
But then
tire
you would come back,
till
and
I tire
and I
myself
was
out
sleeping.
and
I
go
didn't
back. And
realize.
he would be knocked out. That
Yeah.
would make me so upset, you know. And yeah, he could just be so sensitive sometimes. But I think we all have that ability. Like when we're really angry or
Yeah,
have
but
a
it wasn't.
certain emotion.
Yeah, but it wasn't even of anger. I think just in general is part of how I am, right? Because I remember back in the day when we first started that, we'll talk to pastor about, our relationship and whatnot. And I remember she was like, listen, like you gotta control yourself. How you gonna tell her like all these stuff, right? I used to tell you a whole bunch of stuff
Mm-hmm.
that didn't make any sense. And if anything, I was hurting you more than anything else
Yep.
because I was hurt myself. So I think a lot of times, yes, how you mentioned, a lot of people want to hurt back because they think that they're gonna feel a little bit better that
Mm-hmm.
way. Bad news, you're not gonna feel any better,
Nope.
right? That's not gonna take you anywhere. And at the end of the day, I think we need self healing before anything else. And I think like start trying to get people back. And a lot of times I'm still like that sometimes. Like you do something to me, and I really just want to come back at you, like
Yeah, you
very
are.
bad. Yeah, but I stopped that a lot. I don't think I have done
You've
that.
worked on it a lot more, I think. You can be a little bit stubborn when it comes to,
I am stubborn.
like, yeah, once like he feels he's right or he has his opinion on something, there's no changing him.
Okay, so let's put it this way, right? Let's put it in this perspective, right? We're talking about all these different, either positive or negative things about our
Uh-huh.
personalities, right? How could we apply this, or how should we apply this within the church?
But I think that well, one, we're all different, right? The
Yeah.
Bible says we're all one in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
One body, but in the reality is we're composed of different parts. We have different functions and purposes for even the church. But I think that when it comes to church stuff, you can be a little bit more sensitive. In the sense where I think you're more susceptible, like allowing God to work in your heart and kind of tell you, like, I know there's been moments that you're like, God, if I'm wrong, like, correct me, right? I think that in that sense, you're not as stubborn, even though it sometimes manifests itself, because if he
Wow,
thinks,
manifest itself.
like, yeah, because if he thinks like something's wrong, whether it's leadership, any position, like he's just like, nah, this is wrong. Like you're not gonna change my opinion in that. Which
But I think as a body of Christ, we should be entitled to not only have our own opinion,
but
but
discernment, it's
discernment,
discernment.
exactly, to know, okay,
Yeah.
this comes from God or this doesn't come from. It's not like, oh, every time they say something or I have a conversation with something, if I don't agree with them, I'm gonna start getting all crazy. No, I take the good and I remove whatever's the negative part
Yeah.
or whatever I don't accept in my own personal life. And I think like we've been created in a system that we're supposed to accept anything that comes, especially from leadership,
Yeah.
that I don't necessarily agree, because even myself in my early ages of leadership, I did a lot of mistakes and I
Mhm.
probably said a lot of things that I wouldn't say today,
Mhm.
right? Because I matured enough to know, like, listen, this is not the way of doing things. This is not the
Yeah.
way to lead. This is not the way to create discipleship. This is not the way of moving people forward. So I think we all live and learn.
Yeah. And I think that you need to have a little bit of different personalities within the church, within the workplace, anywhere you go. It can't all be the same. Like, you can't have all Denises that agree to everything, right? I think as I gotten older, I've learned to question certain things and be a little bit more open in my personality also within the church. Like even in working in the weekend, as I mentioned earlier, which is overcommitting, learning to say like I can't commit to this
Sometimes you do that.
sometimes, but I'm saying like, growing up in the church and growing up the way I did with my grandmother and stuff, it was almost like um just because I said no to maybe giving a conference or saying, oh, I'm not able to this day or I'm not able to do this, it was almost kind of like the message like, well, you're not saying no to me, you're saying no to God. And
Yeah.
it was like, it was very unfair because what happens is that you grow up thinking that it's almost like you almost feel like you're never good enough
Mm-hmm.
for people, and then it projects to never being good enough for God, because it's like I have to do it almost feels like I always got to do so much to be saved, right? Where really, like, and I spoke with Ellie in a previous episode, was that all we got to do is accept Christ to be saved, right? And then everything else falls into place.
Mm-hmm.
But that message of just kind of like that guilt because I said no, that means I love God less. No, it doesn't. It just means you're working 35 hours a week, right? You're caregiving. For example, like when I was in grad school, right? The last year,
Mm-hmm.
I requested to no longer be like the leader of the young women's group because it was my last year. I had to do my internship, still work full time. Alina was less than a year old. So I had a lot and I had to be able to accept to say no and not feel guilty because I could not afford to continue overcommitting.
Yeah.
So I think that's a reality of
Yeah. I feel
of
like
it.
this is why you have to be some type of little bit of this side of the equation of
But
not accepting
that's why I'm
everything.
with you.
Yeah, yeah, because you can't say yes to everything because again we go back to, and I'm gonna keep on saying it in other videos and wherever I stand, even giving preaching. We can't always say yes to everything, and this is why we're supposed to create discipleship. We're
Yeah.
supposed to create other leaders because if you're, let's just say, leading this ministry 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, who are you kind of preparing to take over, right? Because there's probably going to be a season where you're going to go somewhere else, or you're going to go in a resting mode, or you're going to
Mm-hmm.
go in a healing mode because you're going through something, whatever it is. Who's going to come to kind of take over your spot and bring that ministry into a higher level than what you had it before, right?
Yeah.
Because we just should be growing every year or every season more and more, right? And I feel like we just stay stuck with leaders that say yes, and that should be a podcast as itself,
Yeah.
right? Or even a message itself. We stay stuck with leaders that just say yes, and then the people that don't give the opportunity to say yes because they're always no, no, no.
Yeah.
It's more because they're intimidated
Intimidated.
of all those people that are saying yes,
Yeah.
right? Because the people that say yes are always going to be closer to the leaders, right? The people that say no are not going to be closer to leaders because the leaders are also going to see them as a challenge.
Yeah.
And if anything, those people saying no and hard headed are the ones that are going to develop that leader to be a bigger leader. I mean,
Iron sharpens iron, the Bible says.
yeah, there you go.
So yeah, I think it's pretty cool, like, to kind of use this information and apply it in every aspect of your
Yeah.
life. I think that we need to be able, and I think that it's not about like reading about your personality type and just accepting that as it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe that we all can grow and change. I'm pretty sure that if Elvis and I would have took this test 15 years ago when we first were dating or got married, some of the results may have been different. Some of the traits probably would have been similar,
Yeah.
the same, like maybe the introverted and extroverted parts, but the way we perceived people, the way we perceived ourselves, and even life may have been a little bit different.
Yeah.
And, the importance is being able to allow yourself to change and work in the areas, right? Because now I can't, because I did this test and I'm labeled, as a defender type. Doesn't mean I'm going to say for moving forward that that's going to be my excuse. That's just the way I am. This
Mm-hmm.
is who I am. You accept it or leave it. No, there's areas that it labels as weaknesses that maybe you should work on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, if some of my weaknesses being one of them is overly humble, right? I don't like to take credit. I don't like people putting my name on blast. Like, I very low key. Like, even for my birthday, I went to work that day. I was very quiet about it. It's not like, oh my God, it's my birthday. You know what I mean? Um, but if I want to grow in my career, for example, this overly humbleness is not gonna
Yeah,
get
it's not
me
gonna
into
take
high
you there.
positions.
Yep.
It's really not.
Yep.
It's really not. And I think me and Elvis have been having in the past few months
For a while now, yeah,
conversations.
yeah. I think over a year, to be honest with you,
Yeah, about like
because that's where I push you. I'm like,
yeah,
hey, babe, like
because he's
you
more
know,
like
you know your craft. Stop limiting yourself
yeah,
and stop saying like, oh, I'm not enough. Oh, this person knows more. This person knows more. No, that's not the point. The point is you're in a place where people of high level could see you and can determine, okay, is Denise a good fit? This is not your job to determine if you could fit this role. Is the management is the one that's going to
yeah.
determine Denise is capable, and if she probably has some flaws in something, we could structure it, we could work on it, we could develop it. And I feel like you just overthink things.
Yeah, and I feel like I gotta wait till I'm ready. And it's like there's certain aspects of your life that you have to kind of try to jump for it and try.
Yeah,
And, it's almost like I don't want to fail, you know
yeah.
what I mean? Without even taking the
And
step to try.
we all gonna fail in
Right.
something in our
But
lives.
that's the entrepreneur
Yeah,
personality
I
type of
guess.
you that
Yeah.
you're willing to take a
I feel
risk.
like fail is a restart. Okay, I failed. Now let's start again, right? Because
Yeah.
you already hit rock bottom.
I
You're
know.
not gonna go deeper than the floor. You're right there.
Yeah.
So just get yourself up and let's just move forward.
You see how beneficial it is to have someone like that in your life?
Yeah, well, it's not always like that one, you know.
Yeah, for the most, just even having this conversation is so beneficial because, I mean, we talk about it regularly, but
Yeah.
it's important to kind of, they always say that opposites attract, but I really think is that certain traits are
Hmm.
you're attracted to, right? So it's kind of like you kind of seek someone that maybe has different characteristics of you that can complement you as well. And I think that that applies to everything. So it's not even about even a partnership, but even as single people, this is beneficial to them to know their personality, to see like, oh, this is why I always choose a certain career path. And then kind of becoming self-aware and being able to analyze yourself and say, hey, I don't want to be as introverted anymore. So what can
Hmm.
I do, right? And I have friends that have told me for a while, which I haven't yet, but they're like, try they have like friendship apps, like dating apps, but like to find friends in your community. Because I don't really have anyone up here.
Yeah.
Um, you
Shout
know,
out to Laura.
yeah, besides like Laura and Crystal that visit often and stuff like that, like I don't have friends here, like in my same town that I can just randomly, I don't know, link up or even have someone that has a kid that can come over
I can link you up with a
and
neighbor if you want me to.
no,
I know them all.
you see, he wants no, no.
You
I
guys
need
can
to
put the flowers in front of the house.
no. It needs to be done on my terms. Like I
Okay.
can't. No, oh my God, I can't
We're
even.
going back to your personality.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They're really nice. They're all really nice.
Yeah.
But it's just hard. Like even sometimes they be joking around and be like, "Oh, you still live here?" Because I'm like literally
Serious.
go to the car, come in,
You
out.
still live here. Denise's reaction.
Shut up.
It's like talking to the wind.
Anyways, point is that I think it's so important to get to know yourself in that level
Absolutely.
and kind of see where you have room to grow.
Yeah.
And reflect as like, okay, what can I do better?
And the only way you're actually gonna know that is by not only taking this particular example,
Yeah.
just kind of study yourself to know, hey, listen, and probably your younger self was completely different than who you are today. So,
Yeah.
and I think what you said is important to kind of figure out what are the things that I do like of me as a person, and what are the things that I kind of have to improve as a person as well. Like you mentioned, when it comes to church, I'm a little bit more. I think I'm more humble when it comes to church. So I'm like, hey, God, like, let it be your will, not what I want, right?
Yeah, sometimes, but he be with a face like this.
No, I don't think so, because a lot of times, like, I'm okay and I understand if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? So I say, God, like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, just reveal to me, because God can speak to us directly. Like, I don't need a leader. I don't need anybody to come over here and tell me, hey, the word of God said no. Like, God, reveal to me that I'm wrong or I'm right, whichever one.
But you should also be receptive to people's criticism,
Absolutely.
you know?
No, I agree with it.
Even though he don't like me telling him anything, though.
No, when it comes from you, it comes different. It's you also gotta look at the source. So you also gotta look at the source. Sometimes you're in your feelings,
Come
babe.
on, but
So
you're not gonna tell me that I don't be telling you like good stuff
babe,
90% of the time.
no, you say good stuff. Yeah, I think you say very good stuff, and I listen to you. And as much as I love bothering you because I love bothering you, um, I listen to you, and I think you listen to me as
Yeah.
well. And opposites do attract. I think if we were equally alike, I mean, we would be boring, to be honest with you. I mean, we could have certain things that we're similar in,
Yeah.
but I don't think that
Well, I think if we were like you, like if we were both like you,
it would be a mess.
we wouldn't be boring, but we might not be liked by
No,
many.
no, it would be a mess.
We wouldn't be liked by
No, it
many.
would be a mess. Trust
And
me.
then if we were more
Somebody has
like,
to have structure.
if we were more like me, we would be a little bit boring.
No, it would be very bored.
A little bit.
I'm
I
bored
think
just
I'm a
talking
little,
about it. I'm just bored just to. I gotta be honest. Camera's on.
I'm a little fun. I have a little bit of personality.
Okay, so
Ver-
comment below. Let's do this.
Oh my
Comment
God.
below. Send us a message. Actually, I'll accept text messages on this one. And let us know what you think would be best if both our personalities were like Elvis or both our personalities were like Denise.
Or option C, a little bit of both.
That's what we're living now.
Because I
It's
think
great.
that
That's kind of
it
cheating
works.
because we're living that now and it works. We're
yeah,
happy. I mean,
it does.
we're living one of the best moments of our lives.
You always say that. You sound so.
Because it's the truth. It's
You
not
sound like a
because
little
of
cliche.
it's not because of the camera or anything
Yeah, I
like
know.
that.
I know, but yeah. Take the test. I want to hear. I was already talking to a friend about it, so she was already taking the test too.
And they're not sponsors of this channel or anything like that. We're just doing it to do it. And
yeah. So
it-
take the test.
it's scary.
Share your personality type and let us know if you feel like it's any close to you, accurate, and if you did it with a partner, a friend, a coworker, or even your kid, because we're gonna be doing that too with our kid.
I should do it with my coworkers to see.
That'll be fun, and then it will kind of
Because we get along. Like my coworkers and
I
us.
know,
We're
but
like
it's
a family.
good team building exercise to kind of understand a little bit how,
Look
like,
at my
oh, that
boss.
makes sense. This is why.
This is why you be doing this. This is why you be
Yeah.
doing that. I can see Emily. She's an entrepreneur for sure.
And I can
so-
see Elvis like, all right, this is what we got to work on.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So it was a good talk.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
It had to be said.
And it was said. Take care, guys.